Hi everyone, welcome to the episode and welcome to the podcast. Thank you for your presence here. The intention of this podcast is to plant seeds that help in your alignment and in your growth. With that being said, let the episode begin.
Words aren't just words. Words carry energy, frequency, and vibration. Therefore, words can affect our consciousness, our subconscious reality, and our conscious reality. And we know from research, based on the evidence, that our subconscious reality is affecting our conscious reality more so than our conscious reality is affecting our conscious reality. I'm sure that makes sense. And when I say based on research, or when anyone says based on research, don't just take my word for it. Go and do your own research and Google things and find out things for yourself. Always think for yourself. I'm a huge advocate of always thinking for yourself every single time. But yes, back to the topic. Our subconscious reality controls our conscious reality, which is why when it pertains to the words I use, I am becoming more mindful in regards to what I say. Now, when we think of the topic of strengths and weaknesses, right, that's how it usually goes. It's discussed in terms of your strengths and your weaknesses. Now, I perceive your strengths as things you're good at. That's very clear, very evident. And now your weaknesses will be things you are not good at or things you're bad at, right? But I don't think of your weaknesses as weaknesses. That word weakness, what does it mean? Something that's lesser than a weakness. Something that isn't very great. Or something that just is the main thing is it has a feeling of a thought pattern of lesser than. And when you say weakness already, you're coming from a place of lack, a place of not being good enough, a place of not having a foundation that is fickle. Strength is a solid foundation. So when you say weaknesses, whether you know it or not, subconsciously, you're coming from a place of lacking something severely. And that isn't a good foundation to grow on. I say this. The best way to grow is through love. Love through accountability. But it's all through love. If you want to improve yourself, saying weaknesses creates a foundation in which you aren't good enough. And that's not a good foundation to come from. Now, you might consciously note it means something different. It's a way of you acknowledging and taking accountability for things that you aren't so good at. Yes, that's true. But the words you say carry weight subconsciously. And let me say this as well. Everything can be improved upon. Your strengths, you can get better at that. Same with your weaknesses. And I'm not going to call your weaknesses your weaknesses as I go on in this podcast, as I proceed on. I'm going to call what you might perceive as your weaknesses your growth spots. There's growth in every level. Your strengths and things you aren't so good at. So I'm going to call your weaknesses your growth spots. These are spots and areas that you can grow upon and improve upon if you choose to, if you decide to, if you're consistent, if you're intentional, if you're willing to do the work, you can grow and improve in areas that you aren't so good at. And these areas, you have to be aware of yourself. Self-awareness is key. Because if you aren't aware of things you aren't good at or things you struggle with, how are you going to improve? It's like going something in a blind way, while going in a direction blindly. More like it. You have to know what you aren't so good at. Self-awareness is key. And be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself about things. Be honest with yourself. What am I not so good at? What is evident in my life that I am not so good at? What pattern do I see that I need to improve upon? Be aware of yourself, of your being, and then you begin doing the work. And don't beat yourself up about things. Don't beat yourself up about things. That's not how it works. Again, learn it through love. Accountability through love. Growth through love. Self-love is important. Very important. So when you want to work on things that you aren't so good at, it's like saying this right now. Yes, I see that I'm not so good at this. And how can I improve upon this? And then begin doing those things. You don't say, I'm so bad at this, right? And just negative self-talk, self-depreciation. I don't condone self-depreciation. Even while you're working on things, appreciate yourself and progress through and go on in a way in which you can improve and grow upon things that you aren't so good at. So I call things that you might call your weaknesses your blind spots. These are areas that you can look and find room for improvement. Not your blind spots, your growth spots. That word came through because there was, again, subconscious things. Blind spot, it's not conscious reality. So the word spots came out as blind spot, but I meant your growth spot. But it can also be a blind spot. It can be things that you don't see, because you can't always see things clearly when you're too close to them. You have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Have a bird's eye view, have a bigger perspective, and then you can see things clearly. So that kind of makes sense in the message right now. Look at things that you aren't so good at and begin growing upon those things. Don't say these are my weaknesses. Say these are my growth spots. These are things that I see that I can work and grow upon and build upon and get better at. That's the message here. You can get better at things that you aren't so good at. You can change the way you approach things. You can change the way you feel about things. You can change your thought patterns, your neural pathways. You can feed your brain new information, and that goes through your neural pathways, and that creates a new way of looking at things, a new way of perceiving, a new way of operating, a new way of acting and being through what you're feeding your mind and through what you're actively as a habit working on and doing. Your habits will create the way you are. The things you do consistently over and over again will shape how you become and how you show up in this reality. So now the question for you is, what can I be consistent with? What can I see, analyze, observe, and see that I am not too good at? And how can I be consistent in improving those areas? You have to be willing to do the work. You have to be consistent in areas that you want to improve upon. So when you think of things that you aren't so good at, look at them as growth spots, growth areas. Growth is always possible. If you choose growth, if you decide upon growth, you can grow. As a being, as a person, as a soul, as a human being, you can grow and improve, but you have to look at the patterns. Observation is key. Awareness is key. Awareness of the situation and awareness of yourself. Situation awareness and self-awareness. Look at the circumstances, look at the situation, look at the patterns, and then look at yourself. And then see, what can I work on? What is actually going on here? What can I improve upon? It's all about looking at things from a place of growth and not lack. A place of empowerment and not disempowerment. Right? There are things you can grow upon, and those are your growth spots. Even your strengths, you can improve and grow in those areas as well, because no one is perfect. You won't always be perfect, right? You have to know how to improve upon things, even if you're great at those things. And things you aren't so great at, it's about growing, choosing growth every single time. And if you make a mistake multiple times, that's okay. You're a human being, you aren't a robot, right? You aren't meant to be perfect. That's okay. Keep doing your best work. Keep doing the best that you can in every area of your life, every single time. Work on the things that you can work on and keep improving in areas that you aren't so good at, and you would surely grow if you're consistent, if you commit to the process, and if you're willing to show up and embody what it is you know you need to do. Embodiment is key. You have to embody the growth you are seeking. You can't just say I want to grow and that's it. No, you have to embody the growth you are choosing. Embody the growth you are seeking. Embody the growth you have decided upon. Embody the growth. That's how you become that being, that person that's improved, that's grown, is by embodying the growth that you are choosing every single time. So your so-called weaknesses aren't a weakness. It's a way in which you can grow. It's actually a blessing in disguise. It's ways in which you can see, I can work on this, I can grow on this, I can improve on this, and I can get better and become a better version of me. Become a better version of you. It's all about growth and choosing growth every single time. I hope this helps you in some way, shape, or form.
Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.